This event is a great example of the theme of fate. The boat turning the stone was fated to happen. Like earlier in the epic poem, when Alcinous was talking to Odysseus, he says that there was that prophecy, and you kind of don't think about it at all because you don't think it's that important. But then later in the book, it actually happens. Like on page 235, Alcinous says this. This present due upon the ship on me, my father prophesied in the olden time. If we gave safe conveyance to all passengers, we should incur Poseidon's wrath. He said, whereby one day a fair ship named by the Phaeacians would come briefed at the gods' hands, and great mountains would hide our city from the sea. So my old father forecast. So yeah, it was in the prophecy, and this really shows the interconnectedness between the events. If Odysseus hadn't been hubris on the island with Polyphemus, then this ship would have never turned to stone, because he would have never even been to the island, because Poseidon wouldn't have cursed him. So it shows how fate does all these things in the Odyssey. Also, this shows an example of where Xenia did not help the Greeks at all, or the Phaeacians in this case. Usually, the people who were good, who had good house, were a good host or whatever, showed good hospitality, were blessed by the gods and had good faith. But the Phaeacians showed great hospitality towards Odysseus, and they still got burned in the end by the gods. And yeah, the last one is from one of the last events of the novel. Mass killing at Ithaca, hundreds dead. Yesterday the villagers of Ithaca awoke to discover the brutal slaughter of the suitors at King Odysseus' palace. The villagers were deeply disturbed. They had no idea such an event had taken place. One villager said, we did hear screaming, but we thought it was coming from a wedding celebration. Although the culprit has not yet been verified, many suspect it was King Odysseus himself. The families of the departed are extremely grief-stricken and thirst for justice. And in this event, Odysseus invoked the help of Athena in order to kill the suitors. And although his epithet is the greatest of Tregus, he would have never been able to kill the suitors without Athena's help. The suitors never really had a chance. And their families are unsurprisingly angry at Odysseus. Odysseus could have spared them, but he chooses not to. And I mean, this is kind of the Greek sense of justice, because they were in his house and feasting, but he could have spared them, but he didn't. And then obviously the families were mad. Eupeithes said, he was one of the kinsmen of the suitors, up with you, after him, before he can take flight to Pylos town, or hide at Elis, under Epean law. We'd be disgraced forever, mocked for generations, if we cannot avenge our son's blood and our brothers. Life returned to ashes, at least for me. Rather be dead than join dead. So obviously they're angry at Odysseus' killing of the suitors. What is that? So is Odysseus a hero or a villain? And here are my thoughts on that. And then he is a hero in the traditional sense. He fights monsters and saves his kingdom. However, to some he could definitely be considered a villain, like to the Cyclops and the other people that he hurt. And this goes an example as life is never black and white. Humans are complex, and motives can always be ambiguous. So you can't really answer it, is he truly a hero? Yes, I mean, he saved his kingdom, but I don't think there's one clear-cut answer. All right.
Should be a journalist.